Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the Goruck 18-liter Bullet Ruck in Waxed Canvas. And I have to say that I am a big fan of all the different form factors and material combinations that Goruck has been experimenting with as of late. Not too long ago, I took a look at the 18-liter Bullet in Dyneema. I've also been talking a lot about the GR1 in X-Pack fabric. I've long been a huge fan of their wax canvas bags, and so great to see this new combination of wax canvas with the 18-liter Bullet Ruck, which has quickly become one of my favorite EDC layouts. I really love the double compartment nature of this one. You know, it's like a little mini GR2. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use this over the past week or so. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, we have taken a look at the double compartment Bullet Ruck in the past in other fabrics. So the silhouette and the appearance is pretty similar. And we've also taken a look at some of Goruck's other bags in wax canvas, but it's the first time we've seen this particular combination. I think that it matches up very nicely. In general, I think that Goruck's bags with their more minimal and simple style are a great fit for wax canvas. And so great to see that translated here. I think that this is an appearance that's very timeless. It's gonna work well in a lot of different environments. And then the version that I have here is this interesting olive colorway that has the coyote brown sort of zipper accenting. And you know, I think that that looks very cool, super distinctive. I hope to see this in other color combinations. At the time of filming, I'm not sure if those are, you know, part of the roadmap for Goruck, but I'll be keeping a close eye out. This colorway though, I think looks great, especially with the accenting on the bottom and on the handle for the leather, which feels, you know, very rugged, and again, just gives it a very sort of nice heritage vibe. And you also have the aqua guarded zippers here, which is an interesting contrast with the more old school nature of wax canvas to have kind of the modern zippers. I'm always a fan of the aqua guarded zippers just for the additional protection that they can provide. And this is another one of those areas where Goruck has continued to improve. These work very, very smoothly. So haven't had any issues right out of the box. They slide, you know, very easily, and there's no rain flaps on the zippers like we've seen with some of their other bags, which also helps them just work very, very smoothly. And then this wax canvas material I've used for several years now across their bags, and it's held up super well. I love how it'll start to develop scuffs and patina and just kind of have its own sort of character the more that you use it. So very similar wax canvas feeling here, which I think is gonna just continue to hold up very, very well, combining with the aqua guarded zippers. I really like the zipper pulls as well. And then you have this handle at the top, which as always is well reinforced and offers enough space. And on the front, you do have the Goruck patch included with the bag. You can, you know, of course, take this off, personalize it with another one if you prefer, but I like that aesthetically this matches up with some of the other accenting on the bag. And as with other 18-liter bullets, there's no external water bottle pockets or anything like that. And this is a more slick styling, so no molly webbing on the exterior on the front or the sides, which I think makes sense given the, you know, more kind of minimal and classic nature of the bag. And as far as how well this stands up on its own, so far it's been pretty inconsistent. This is something I've noticed with the double compartment bullets, is that they have some slanting on the front, and especially if you load everything out, it'll start to pull the bag forward. So I find myself leaning this when I place it down next to me just to have a little bit more peace of mind. Moving into the capacity, as the name of the bag states, this comes in at about 18 liters. And to me, this feels like a pretty generous 18 liters. It doesn't feel as tight as some of the other bags in this size range that I've used. So it's a great daily bag. I was able to hold all the items that I normally like to carry with me. And it feels like the space is well distributed across the various compartments that the bag offers. So it's thoughtfully laid out. When you pack it out completely, because you have that double compartment layout, it can start to be a little bit bulkier, but it never feels overwhelmingly so. It's still something that I felt comfortable for using in a variety of environments, and that I also thought would work well for carrying onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I'm a fan of Goruck's straps in general, but to me, the ones on their wax canvas bags have always been the most comfortable. They just feel really well padded, but also quite broken in and ready to go right out of the box. Some of their other straps can have a little bit of a break-in period, and so these just feel fantastic. Of course, they don't have, breathable mesh or anything like that on the inside. And with the Bullet Ruck, you have narrower straps, but the width that's included here still feels like it's enough so that the bag doesn't cause any fatigue as you're wearing it throughout the day. You don't have any webbing on the straps here to add a sternum strap, which I think some people will be sad to see, believe that you can send this to scars to have that added. But to me, this clean sort of aesthetic I think works well. And then on the back panel, you also have the waxed canvas material here. So it's not gonna be the most breathable, but you have a good amount of padding that's well distributed throughout. And with the Bullet Ruck line, you have that added lumbar support, which can be really nice. I'm not really sure why this is only on the Bullet Rucks, but it's always nice to have that sort of elevated extra padding here. And then while we're on the back panel, I'll also call out the dedicated laptop compartment. As we've seen in other Goruck bags, I'm a huge fan of having this separate area so that you can access your device. This has the aqua guarded zipper to give you that extra layer of protection. And then this will be able to handle a 14-inch laptop comfortably. This is my 14-inch MacBook Pro. 15-incher could probably fit. I have tried fitting some of the 16-inch MacBook Pros and it gets real tight up against the zipper. I believe that you can maybe squeeze it in, but it's more tight than I feel comfortable with for a laptop. But for my normal device, it works perfectly, well padded. You have the frame sheet here, false bottom, so always a fan of how Goruck does their laptop compartments. Jumping into the organizational options, this is a layout that I've covered in other videos, but I'll do a quick run through of how I've loaded everything out. So on the front, you have the slanted zippered quick access pocket. Again, aqua guarded zipper here. And I like this pocket on the waxed canvas bags as it just feels a little more flexible. And so I'm able to store a variety of items in here, but I'll typically use it for something flatter like my tablet, a notebook, maybe one of Goruck's wire dot pouches. And then at the top, you have the quick access pocket, which I've absolutely love. I've called this out several times in other Goruck videos. And you have the orange liner here to give you some added visibility and more than enough space for things like my charging cable here, as well as my AirPods. So just things that I want to reach and get to very quickly. And the double compartment layout is one of my favorite things about both this bag and the GR2. It always feels like it provides an extra level of flexibility over some of the single compartment bags on the market. And so you have two clamshell style compartments, which is really nice, particularly for this front one, as it allows you to take full advantage of the capacity that's offered here. You're not having to reach down and kind of blindly store items. So you can open this up, and then on the lid, you have a couple of zippered compartments. You have one that's mesh, and it's gonna offer a nice amount of space. And I have my alpaca admin pouch in there at the moment, great for laptop chargers and things like that. And then you have the Bullet Ruck patch here on the inside and another quick access pocket near the top. This is typically where I will store my sunglasses. And on the other side, you do have some space to just rest some pouches. So here I have a couple of Evergood Civic Access pouches. And if you want to use the zipper pocket that's on the back, you can. You can see that it does offer some volume if you don't want to use a separate pouch, or you can put a pouch inside of here. I normally don't use this one as much. And if you don't want to use it, just stays out of the way. And of course, you have the built-in field pocket. And I love, with the waxed canvas bags that you have the waxed canvas pocket here, so it's very flexible. It'll mold around the items that are on the inside. I just put my packable tote bag in there to kind of show the capacity, but great for laptop chargers, sunglasses. There's a lot of different options with how you can organize this bag. I have a headlamp in here. On the back, you have a couple of slip pockets to store something like a mouse, and I also have a pocket knife in here. And then moving into the main clamshell compartment, again, very easy to open this up flat, and you have a nice amount of space even at 18 liters. This felt very easy to pack out with the items that I normally like to have with me. And so diving in, I have my Lockbee Tech pouch, another Evergood Civic Access pouch, 1/2 liter and 2 liter. I also have my larger over-ear headphones, and all of that fit in there very comfortably. And on the inside here, you can see you have a slip pocket and the rows of webbing on the back that you can pair with Goruck's field pockets or just clip on additional accessories. You can also see the quick access pocket coming in. So if this is really full, it'll take up a little bit of space. And with this layout here, this definitely feels like something that will work well for minimal travel, to be able to hold a packing cube, an extra pair of shoes, my toiletry bag. I can store it in the main area. In the front compartment, I have more flexibility, and I could definitely use this for a longer weekend trip. And the last thing I'll call out here in the main area is that on the lid you have an additional zippered mesh pocket. And I like that this is oriented vertically so you can access it from the side. And then it's just a nice area to provide some separation if you want to store some additional pouches, maybe a jacket, extra shirt or clothing if you're using this for travel. And then, you know, it's got a nice elastic material, and if you don't want to use it, it just kind of stays out of the way. So can't say enough good things about this layout and this form factor. I think that this is a really great size. I love the added organization that it provides. The Bullet Ruck combined with the Waxed Canvas aesthetic, I think is a really, really cool combo. And if you're a fan of Goruck's bags, or if you're just looking for, you know, EDC sized, all-purpose, rugged option, I think this is gonna be a fantastic bag to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the 18-liter Bullet Ruck in Waxed Canvas. You can currently purchase this on Goruck's site. It's gonna come in at around $235, which is an interesting price point considering that this is a Waxed Canvas bags, which typically come at a bit of a premium even by Goruck standards now, as Goruck has started to make more of their bags in Vietnam. That does help with the pricing, and you know, they're still backed by Goruck's warranty. And you know, they feel rock solid. I don't notice any of the difference as far as the materials and the build itself, but it is something to note, you know, as you're considering which one of their bags that you might want to get. But you know, to me, for the, you know, just combination of features, the build quality and the materials, it feels like a pretty reasonable price, and it's going to compare well against some of the other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, this definitely reminded me of some of the other great bags in Goruck's lineup. The GR2 layout is very similar to this. It's just going to be a little bit larger, but the one that I kind of thought about the most was the GR1, which is the form factor that I come back to over and over again. I just love the balance that it strikes between minimalism and just giving you the right amount of organization. It's nice to have the extra pockets that this double compartment bullet offers, but oftentimes I just prefer to have a simpler layout. So the GR1 still offers the quick access pockets on the front, at the top, dedicated laptop compartment. It has the clamshell style opening. I really like the 21-liter size. I've always felt that it holds a very impressive amount for its size and its silhouette. And so it just, you know, is the bag that I can use for pretty much anything. It's one of my favorite options to go to. And you know, if you're looking for a Goruck bag and you prefer something a little simpler than this one, then that's gonna be one of the best options that you can take a look at. Another bag this made me think of is the Evergood CTB20, which was recently released in Waxed Canvas, and I've really been enjoying that bag a lot. I've been talking about the CTB's layout for a long time. It's one of my favorite pocket systems as far as just being easy to access. The quick access pockets offer just a great amount of space. Dedicated laptop compartment, you have the dual external water bottle pockets, a luggage pass-through, comfortable harness system, clamshell style opening. So, you know, offering just a lot of variety in how you can organize your stuff. And at 20 liters, it's pretty comparable to this one as far as, you know, how much it can hold. They of course distribute the space differently due to the differences in their layout. Both can hold a surprising amount for their sizes, but you know, the CTB20 is just gonna be a really great option. It is also offered in the nylon material. And so if you're looking for something with great organization that's gonna give you water bottle pockets and luggage pass-through, then that's gonna be a fantastic option to take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Fjallraven Raven backpack. That's available in a 28-liter size and a 20-liter size. And that has been a bag that I have talked about for a number of years now, as I feel it's one of the best values as far as the features and the quality that you get with the bag. It's got a great organizational layout, dual external pockets, a nice laptop area. It's got a couple of different quick access pockets. The layout's gonna be a little different depending on the size that you get. If you get the 28-liter size, you'll get a similar kind of almost dual compartment nature to this one here. So you have the spacious main area, you have an admin compartment on the front, and then you have the laptop area. But the 20-liter size is also gonna offer an impressive amount of organization in a bag that's gonna have a similar form factor and silhouette to this one here. That one also has a little bit more of a heritage vibe with Fjallraven's G1000 fabric, so very durable, and also it just comes in at a pretty reasonable price point. So if you're looking for something with a heritage vibe that's gonna give you a nice organizational layout and you have a little bit of a tighter budget, then that's gonna be a great one to take a look at. With that being said, the 18-liter Bullet Ruck holds up very well against all those options, regardless of the fabric that you choose it in. Whether it's Dyneema, Waxed Canvas, Ripstop Nylon, this form factor has been a fantastic addition to Goruck's lineup. It's awesome to have the extra organizational options in a size and form factor that's very EDC friendly. And I really love the wax canvas straps in particular, as I mentioned during the video. So if you're looking for a rugged, comfortable bag that's gonna look great, hold up well, and provide an excellent organizational layout, then this can be an awesome option to consider. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the 18-liter Bullet Ruck in wax canvas and how it compares to some of the other popular EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank Goruck for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.